Hey again, everybody. This is Scott and Mike from Wing Chun Geeks. I'm Mike over here on the left.
And I'm Scott over here on the right. So let's go ahead and get started. Today we got a Pak style video for you. Let's hit play.
So the Pak is basically, just to review certain points, we're going right in. That's a counter Pak right there by Scott. Counter Pak, and we're going to add one little extension to it.
Yeah, so Mike, what would you say the point of a Pak style is?
You're doing a couple of things. The big thing is that your Pak shouldn't Pak across the body. The Pak should be driven straight in, right onto the opponent's center. What you're really trying to do is break the structure of the opponent.
Yeah.
Maybe
So Mike is saying you're actually driving forward directly into the opponent's center line.
Right. And
if you want to know about the center line, just go ahead back to our website and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. So from my perspective with the Pak style is what you're really trying to do is clear a space. You're trying to knock your opponent's arm out of the way so you can kind of slip your arm in. It's not this big, giant, explosive thing. It's kind of like, I'm not too sure how to explain it. You're trying to just clear a small space so you can get a big result.
Nice.
Which would be hitting the opponent.
I like it. Yep, I agree.
So I think that breaks it down. Let's watch everything again in slow motion so you can really get a clearer picture of what's going on. So if you're not an experienced Wing Chun practitioner, you might not know that Wing Chun is all about attacking and defending yourself at the same time. Pak style is, I would say, perhaps one of the better examples of this, because what you're doing is you're clearing or blocking with one hand and attacking with the other. So in a moment, what you're going to see is Mike is going to, who's on the left, is going to clear my right hand out of the way. And when he clears out of the way, it's going to make a perfect funnel for his hand to come in and strike me. Okay, let's go ahead and watch it. Boom.
Nice.
Clear and perfect strike.
Then Scott does it. All right, now a couple of really cool, nice freeze, Scott.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
A couple of really important points to note here. If you take a look at Scott's Pakking hand, that is his left hand right there. First of all, the thumb is tucked nicely, which
you
is
can't quite see it over here.
Right.
But if you look very, very closely, you can see that my thumb is tucked away.
Right. So Pak shouldn't have a flying thumb on the outside. You don't want to grab around the arm. You know, that's a very common, even when you're lopping, by the way, the grab to pull across is, as you saw in the previous video, the thumb is on top, not around the arm. You never want an appendage loose like that. That's the first point. Scott is nicely simultaneously Pakking and hitting at the same time, which is the point Scott was just making.
Well, that's a pretty common mistake among beginners. Why don't you want to grab and attack at the same time?
Right, and the answer to that is because there are many locks that the opponent can do to you. That's the first reason. And the more important reason, when you grab someone's arm, you're actually handcuffing yourself to that arm. You're not going to be able to do anything with that arm if you're holding on to the opponent's limb. So that's not a good idea from a Wing Chun point of view.
Yeah, so by holding on, you're opening yourself up to a world of trouble.
Sure. The other thing you'll notice is Scott's Pak doesn't Pak across the center line. Scott is clearly Pakking straight in, which will disrupt your opponent's structure. You know, our Sifu likes to talk a lot about the idea of cerebellar dysfunction, that when you're jarred, either by yanking from like a lop effect or by being pressed like Scott's doing to me, if it's quick, a short, quick, choppy type energetic, the jarring of your head will create a balance problem. You won't be thinking about the punch anymore. Now you're thinking about where the heck am I going? And the first thing the body has to do is right itself. So what we do is a constant process of breaking structure and following with more attacks before the opponent can recover.
Yeah, that was really well said. And if you don't know already, Mike is a doctor of physical therapy. He's not just making this up. This is scientific fact.
Right. True. Yep. And all the postural muscles will fire at the moment you've lost your balance or have been jarred like that. So there's not a whole lot you can do until you right yourself. So, all right, well, let's go forward now. And now we're going to add, you saw just the Pak and the hit. Now the other guy, the continuation of the drill, you would continue this and move forward by having a counter Pak, where the opponent is going to put an arm up to block the Pak.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're kind of teaching you how to build up to the the cool thing where you get to attack 5,000 times.
Right, and actually this is what you want to do when you practice this drill. Start by squaring off right lead to right lead, for example. Back of the hands touching, that's called reference position. And all you're going to do is step in and pock and hit. The opponent does nothing. He's offering you the drill. So he's just there as a dummy to receive it. Do that a couple of times, back and forth, maybe five times. The opponent does 5, then switch over to the left side and do it again. This is how you conduct yourself with most drills. And then add the counter pock after, when you've gotten the neurology laid down and you can pull that off with both hands working simultaneously.
Yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and hit the next part.
Now you'll notice a counter pock. So whereas we didn't block that pock da, now it's a pock da with a counter pock. And there's Scott's pock.
All right. So if you haven't put it together yet, my hand just came up and blocked Mike's hand. And just like we were saying before, to keep your thumb in, I guess I fudged that part over there.
I might have hit you out of the way, though.
But it's okay. Well,
the important thing to notice is that Pac's counter pock doesn't pock across my center line or his own. He just puts the hand up and stops it right at point. So let's show the other half of that. Now Scott's going to do the same thing. So counter pock. And I did the counter pock on that one. And now for the last part, where we add the attack, do you have anything else to say on this section?
Yeah, I would say that the first 2 parts are the more important than anything else.
Definitely.
Because you're building the basics. No matter what level you're at, whether you're at the wooden dummy level or the knife level or even just Silum towel, this is where it's at.
Yeah,
the first 2 parts of the drill. The rest is just extra flair and finesse.
Right. We're going to get hopefully on a later video to show some of the footwork that's going on here. But basically, here's the idea. However far your feet are apart, when you step into pock, you're going to step forward with your lead foot, but you're not going to leave the back leg back there after you throw the punch. You have to bring the back leg up to the same distance away from the front leg as when you started. And we'll look at that hopefully at another time, but you don't want to leave your feet stuck to the floor while you're doing this. Step forward and then adjust the back leg to meet the front leg at the same distance. Yeah.
That's common among all martial arts. Essentially what you're doing is attacking with your core.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so let's go ahead and watch the end, which I guess is
the counter pock that pocks too far across. And this is what happens when you do that. So let's check it out. Now the counter pock went across, so Mike was able to, so I was able to lop it.
All right.
There it is. You saw I pocked too far, and Scott was able to capitalize it by just keeping that motion going and finishing me off. So.
Okay, so I think there's one more section to watch.
Nope, that's it.
Oh, there isn't. Okay, so that concludes the end of the video. If you have any questions, definitely check out our website. We'll be willing to answer any questions you have whatsoever.
All right, guys, thanks again. We'll see you soon.
All right, see ya.